working. Rotate device back. There we go. Ah, okay. Hold on, guys. I'm crooked. Give me a thumbs up if my sound is good. I always worry about that. How do I? Okay, I guess I'm locked in this mode here. Sorry. This is going to be really weird. The whole up and down thing. Sorry about that. Will somebody chat down there with me and let me know if my audio is good or not? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Hello, Mr. Rick. Hello, Second Chance Recovery. All right. Okay, thumbs up from Mikey. I got my. Can I set this right here? Is that going to be in your way? Oh, good. Okay, now audio is fine. Very good. Sounds good. Thank you, Joe Buck. How are you guys doing today? I don't know where the weather is, like how the weather is where you are, but here, man, we've had a wild 24 hours. Let's see. Yesterday it was like 60. Then tornadoes come, flash floods, then snow this morning, and now it's like, I think with the wind chill, it's like 22 or something like that. All of a sudden, it's crazy. Tennessee weather is crazy. One day you're in shorts, next day you're in coveralls and freezing. And I usually don't run the shop heat on the weekends because I don't want to waste it. So I came out here about an hour ago and fired it up. So it's still, let's see, it just turned 42 degrees in here. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend and wrapping up your weekend. It looked like on our post, everybody said Sunday evenings really worked well for them. So I hope that more people can join us now, because I know we're doing it on Friday nights. You know, people have things to do and they're busy, especially if they have families. So maybe this will be a little bit better setting for us. But if another night works, we can do that as well. I had a wonderful birthday yesterday. I turned 50 yesterday, and my family had me a little party, a private party at the house. And then after church this morning, there was a surprise party, and it was wonderful. I'm so blessed. You know, I don't know why the Lord has blessed me all my life, but He has, and He's amazing. And I know in my videos, I don't talk about my faith much, because we just talk about bikes. We do bike stuff, and I don't ever, I kind of want it to be about bikes and just helping people out and learning together. But I'm not ashamed of my faith. I'll talk about it anytime that I feel the need to. But a lot of people don't know that I'm a big faith guy. And the Lord has just blessed me my whole life. Now, I got some new shoes. Hey, and don't know if you know this or not, but I am certified 3-star YouTube mechanic now. I guess when you turn 50, you qualify for that. So rest assured that I will never make another mistake again in wrenching. Nope, that's a lie. Okay, let me check up on the chats here. Who have we got? Second Chance Recovery, thanks for watching. Dutch Clutch, thanks for watching. Rick, Aging Soul Rector, thanks for watching. Mikey, Trace, looks good, sounds fine to me. Yeah, I've got the new shop lights that I got for my videos pointed right at me, and they look good. Trace, y'all don't get washed away, did you? We got about 3 inches of rain and then 3 inches of snow overnight in northwestern Kentucky. Wow. We did not. Of course, I'm up on a big hill. If water gets into my house or the shop from flooding, we've missed the boat. we've missed the arc or something. I don't know. So, but we did have tornado watches, but no warnings last night. But I just heard today that there was a levee or a dam or something that broke down around Chattanooga and flooded a whole city and killed a lot of people and some people are missing. So be praying and thinking about those people down there in Chattanooga. I haven't seen any images or anything, but we're fine here. Our baseball field flooded, but it does that every time it rains and things like that. Sounds like North Carolina, yeah, probably. Sunday evening looks great. Sunday eves look great. Good. Happy late birthday. Thank you, Trace. Hello from Blind River on Canada. Is that Ontario? On Canada? Good to have you, Brian. Dutch Clutch, you're the motorcycle messiah. I like that. Hey, Hippie's Chopper Corner. Good to have Hippie. Man, Hippie's channel's blowing up. I can't catch that dude. He's done gone into another universe. PG, excellent channel. Uh, Chrisney, I hope I said that right. Sanders. Happy birthday, old man. I will be 50 next month. A lot of questions I've been asked over the last 24 hours. How do you feel? I guess they were thinking you turn 50, you drop dead. I don't know. It doesn't feel any different, and I still feel as dumb as I did at 25. So I guess it's all about how you feel in your heart, I guess. I don't know. But I'm still trucking along fine. Mr. Founder says fake priest or something. Ah, okay. Snow coming Wednesday for us, man. Yeah. We're predicted to get like 6 inches of snow, which is like a total shutdown for us. We would lose our minds, be barricaded in for, a good year. I don't know. We don't do well with snow. Any threat of snow, schools say, nope, not playing that game. We shut down. I saw there was a bunch of tornado warnings south of us. Yeah, I heard a tornado touched down in Franklin, Tennessee, which is kind of northwest of us. So we're in Hartsville. If you don't know where that is, it's about an hour east of Nashville and about an hour south of Bowling Green, Kentucky. So good evening, Hippie, from Dutch. Happy birthday, Father Butler. Okay. Step it up in here. Double tap your screen to like. It's free to like and subscribe. Help the algorithms. Boy, I am learning a lot. I'm glad you mentioned that. Your name's nobody. Man, the algorithms. I don't know. I can't figure them out. I don't know what does good, what doesn't good. I just decided I'm going to be me, and I'm going to say dumb stuff sometimes. I'm going to ramble and jaw a lot, but we're going to have fun. And that's just who I am. If people like that, great. If they don't, fine. That's just who I'm going to be. I'm not going to try to be anybody else. But I didn't know you could double tap your screen to like something. I'll have to try that. And it is free to like and free to subscribe, so that's good. Thank you, Hippies. Chopper Corner. Y'all hit the like button. Second Chance Recovery, HHC is awesome. Oh, Second Chance. Your hoodie that you ordered should be in my hands next week, and I will get that and your patch mailed out to you and send you a tracking number once I do that. Thank you for the merchandise purchase. Oh, what's up from Florida? Oh, I bet it's nice and warm there. My oldest son got transferred in the military down to Hawaii. Him and his wife and our 2 grandbabies, and they have another baby on the way. And they love it. I mean, it's beautiful there. The pictures they're sending and the videos they're sending, it's like a constant 75-degree temperature all the time. When it does rain, it rains for like 10 minutes and then everything's dry. Island life. It seems beautiful. And today I'm a little envious of it. So happy birthday, man. How's your dad doing? Hey, thanks for asking about Dad. He's doing good. He's stubborn. He will not go to get his x-rays done to see what's going on, but today he said he probably needs to. Okay, here's what we've talked him into. My son-in-law has forfeited buying my dad's dyno, and he is going to buy my dad's CB 750 chopper. He's going to get it fixed because he rode that chopper back when we first finished building it. He rode it to church and he loved it. So my dad's going to sell him the CB 750 Honda chopper, and then my dad's going to take the money from that sale and we are going to put a trike kit on his dyno. I think as far as today at my birthday party, that was the plans. Now that could change at any minute, but that's what it's going to be. So Hippie, thanks for asking about my dad. Mikey, 54 here, only hurts when you wake up. Okay, I hadn't got there yet, um, but hopefully I'll keep stretching, and I am going to this spring, get back into lifting weights. I really used to enjoy lifting weights, and I've always been able to put on a muscle mass pretty quick, and I always enjoy lifting weights. It's very therapeutic, good for your mind, body, soul, all that. So I'm going to get back to doing that. I used to run. I used to be a runner. I used to bike. I've done some triathlons, and then life just gets busy, and you put all that aside, and then you're still eating like you're burning 10,000 calories a day, and you're not. And so it catches up with you quick. But I started carnivore about, oh gosh, probably about 6 months ago. I've lost 60 pounds. I feel awesome and tons of energy now. Testosterone's come back up. So I think it's time to add some weight training to it. So hopefully you'll see me kind of cut up this summer. No, just kidding. All right, Trace, did you end up picking up that Road Glide? I did not. I'm still scraping together some funds for that. I got big plans though. I want to take a Road Glide like that if the guy still got it by the time I get the money together. And I have fallen in love with this Honda 754 that came in. He says they tried to match the original paint that was on it. It's a 72. And I love it. It's almost, I'll show you it before we go. It's almost like a gold. You want to see it? Let me show you. Let me unplug you and walk with me. I got my cordless mic on. You see that? Now the camera doesn't do it justice, I'll tell you. It looks almost like yellow. When I'm looking at it, it's almost like a goldish green, but it's like a matte color. I would love to do a Road Glide in that. I just think that would be just wicked awesome. To take a Road Glide and to do it like that. And now what would I do? Well, I'm not going to bagger it out, and I'm not going to put big 30-inch tire on it or anything like that. I just want to be comfortable that my wife can ride with me, Sugar Bear, and we can take some trips on it, and she can just enjoy riding again, because she says she doesn't like riding, but when she rode me on my Street Glide that I had before I sold it, she did. She had some fun times. But I'd love to paint that color. I'm going to try to get the color code from the customer that brought the bike up, because I want to keep that color code, and if I find the right bike at the right price, I'm on it. Now, that is the cheapest Road Glide with the twin cam that I've been able to find, and I like that it needs motor work. So I'm thinking it would make some great filming for you and I to be in here wrenching on it. It's super cheap, but even if we got into the motor and it was just like, hey man, this motor's trashed. A twin cam motor, they're not that much. We could just do a motor swap. I could do a 6-speed upgrade on it. We could upgrade the fuel injection on it. I mean, we can make it a really nice bike. And the thing I like about the Road Glides is they really didn't change their body styles, up until about 10 years ago. So they kind of still look stylish to me. I love the double rounded headlights. I guess where I grew up on the crotch rockets and the old Kawasaki's and Yamahas, the sports bikes, the street bikes that had the two dual rounded headlights. I just love that style. Of course, we would do some customizing to it, but I just want it to be sound mechanically. We can get on it and just take a trip to the mountains to Gatlinburg and not have to worry about it. Of course, I would still probably ride my panhead the most, unless I just wanted some more little, comforts and things. So that's my plans, but I just don't have the extra funds for it yet. But I'm working on it. Maybe it'll still be there, and maybe he might, even take a little bit less for it. Okay, so Michael Haynes, do people ask questions about their bikes? Yes, I do get Facebook messages, I get emails, I get wiring questions, torque questions, all kinds of. You know what I wish there was out in the world? I wish there was an app that you could download that had all of the Harley torque specs in it, because I have found myself, now that I've been wrenching for quite a while, I know the proper order to do things and to put them back. I can never remember the torque specs, and I don't want to get those wrong. I wish there was an app you could just, Harley torque specs, and you could even do Hondas, and so there you go. There's you an idea. Just give me a little small commission off each app you sell. But you can just, pull it up, and there's your torque spec. It doesn't have to be instructions or anything. I just want the number of the torque spec that I need. Um, so I get a lot of questions like that, and I'm happy to answer them. I always want to be available to you guys, and I hope that as we grow, I can still be one-on-one with you. As far as I know, now sometimes I have to check my message on YouTube. Sometimes they will hold comments, and when I read the comments, they're not bad comments. I don't know why they do that. So often I'll check those and then approve them, and then have to go back and respond to them. But as far as I know, I think I have responded to each and every comment, goods and bads. And you guys here on my channel, I can't ask for better, folks. You guys are some of the best on YouTube. Even my wife always says they are the nicest people to you. They're so kind and encouraging and uplifting. And there was a time, guys, I think about Chase Spears. He started his new channel, uh, Paint by Spears Pinstriping, and he's got, I think, 40 something subscribers. And I remember those days, and I'm like, man, this is never going to work. This is a lot of extra work. Why am I doing this? But it was because of your comments and encouraging words that kept me posting. And now I have a good, solid community. And some of you guys have been with me probably before I had 100 subscribers. And I remember working so hard to get to that 1,000 subscribers so that I could do live chats and so that I could actually just sit and talk to you guys without it having to be kind of an edited production kind of thing. And speaking of Chase Spears, can I show you something? You see this? There's a little delay in what I'm seeing down here. So let me try to hold it still. Look at that. Chase came up and pinstriped my 3/4 inch vintage helmet. I believe it's a 70. Where's the date? The date's in here because I left it. Where are you, date? 1970. Oh, wow. 1970 3/4 inch helmet. And it is absolutely beautiful. Just he does amazing work. So if you haven't checked out his channel, it's Paint by Spears. He might even pop on here. If he does, just click his name, go over there and subscribe to his channel. He really is talented, and he's a good speaker. Like, when he talks, it's really relevant, and I just enjoy. It's kind of therapeutic to watch him paint, and you don't know what he's spelling yet, and you try to guess it, and you guess it wrong. It's just kind of really relaxing. But um, I forgot what I was saying, but I do get a lot of questions, and I'm happy to answer them. Charlie, yeah, haven't noticed much difference since the past 15, since 50. Well, that's good. That's encouraging. And, I look at my dad, and I guess everybody kind of compares themselves to their fathers or mothers and how, they're progressing and how they're going to be. Dad's still very independent and still trucking right along. So I hope, in 20 years, I'm still out here doing what I'm doing and loving the business. Now, I will say this: I started this business flipping bikes. So I would get bikes that were either wrecked, well, not wrecked. They always had good titles, but that were hadn't run in 20 years, and I would buy them. They were mine. I would title them in my name, and then I would get them back on the road. I'd customize them, and then I'd ride them for a little bit, and then I would wind up selling them and putting that money into another one. That's what I love the most, because working on customers' bikes, just I don't know why, still it makes me nervous as a cat. I just get nervous. And some of you guys really love your bikes. It's like your baby. And, I don't have the cleanest shop, and I don't have all the fancy lifts and the fancy tools. Um, but I try to do really good work. I try to really care about each bike. But I would love to get back to just finding old projects for me and you, fixing them up, and then I'd even like to get to the place to where I just give them away. I don't. I'm out of room up here. I don't need any more bikes. I'll just give them away. If there's something that really tickles my fancy, I'll hang on to it. Um, uh, so Charlie says, "Happy birthday. Hope you had a great one." I sure did. I didn't get my '69 Mustang Fastback, but I got some new shoes, so I'm happy. I hit the like button. Thank you, Trace. Appreciate that. Second chance. Awesome, Kevin. Thanks, brother. It should be your way, heading your way soon, all your gear. Midnight Rider, happy 50th birthday. Thank you, Hippie. Oh, where'd you go, Hippie? Hold on. Uh, Big Edzilla is in Daytona. Oh, Hippie, second chance recovery. What's up, man? Yeah, 60 pounds. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I kind of really let myself kind of swell up a little too much. Trace, that's a great looking restoration. Yeah, if you're talking about that Honda, he did a really good job on that. And I talked a little bit about it in my last video, kind of a shop update and upcoming video. So we're going to replace the head on that, and that's going to be a fun time if you like 750s. Hey, Paint by Spears is on here. Chase is on here, so say hi to him. Trace, proper torque, crank it down with plenty of blue Loctite. Yeah, uh, don't do that. I've broken a lot of boats like that. Second chance, I'm a road captain in the hog chapter. I'll ask my parts manager, Ken, see what they use for a quick go torque specs. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you. Ray, I had some square headlights for many years on classic K BMWs. Dogs hated those square headlights. Hey, that's might have been a good thing. Some would stand in the middle of the road and bark. Well, maybe that's not a good thing. Never had so many dog chases. Okay. Why? I wonder why square. I wonder if it's something about the square headlights that triggered them. Um, Dutch. Everything I'm finding online is saying it's candy gold. Oh, hey, thank you, Dutch. Let me write that down, and I can ask him if that's what it is. So the paint on the Honda is candy. Yeah, you can tell it's got some. Looks like almost like some yellow flake under it, and maybe a green over it. I don't know. Candy gold. HC-16-600. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Dutch Clutch, or I guess it's Mr. Dutch Clutch. I was hoping it wasn't green because green bikes are unlucky. I would never paint a green bike. I've just always been told and heard they're unlucky and they always go down on you. I know it's superstitious, but candy gold sounds a lot better. So I'll ask the gentleman if that's the paint code, and if so, we can rock with that. Uh, all right, yeah, Spears is here, so give him a follow and subscribe to his channel. He's really working it and really trying to do a good job. Oh, okay, Dutch Clutch has got another one. Or Y2C-C. Thank you, Dutch. You guys can find anything online. I have trouble finding stuff online sometimes. Oh, thanks, Spears. Yeah, Paint by Spears said it's a 1970, so thanks for verifying my helmet. Looks awesome, great pinstriping. I'm telling you guys, go check his channel out. He's got some of his stuff that he's done in the past, and I know he's got a lot more stuff coming out. He's like me, still learning the camera and getting, when I'm talking to you, I've kind of gotten used to it now. It's like having a friend here in the shop. So, but at the first, it was weird looking in the camera and talking and not being so professional about it and just talking like you're hanging out with me. So that takes some time, which he's on a good path. All right, Rick Agent Soul, that looks awesome. Great pinstriping. Hippie, I gotta go now. Keep putting out the great videos, man. Appreciate it, Hippie. Thanks for stopping by. Second chance later, Hippie. S. Stormit, who is one of our paying members, says, if that's your helmet, Spears has painted it sweet. It is. And my good friend, Mr. Mike, who has a shop here in Hartsville, he painted the blue flake on my helmet because he painted Lucy and he was able to match that. And then Spears did the pinstriping on Lucy, my panhead, and on the helmet as well. And he knocked it out of the park both times. Ray says, birthday blessings. Thank you, Ray. Many rides, many miles, many, many years. Thank you. It's so nice. Dutch Clutch, happy to help. Appreciate it. Brian, Class S, Class T, and Class M here. Your workmanship is excellent. Watch you all the time. Oh, man, that's so good to hear. My bike is green. Paint job coming in. You might want to. Maybe, maybe that's just a local thing here in Tennessee. Do other places say that green bikes are unlucky? I don't know. Let me know. That's just what I've always heard. Spears says, Paint by Spears says, thanks, brother. New video comes out tomorrow of the helmet pinstriping. Well, I'm sorry if I ruined it for you, Spears. I just couldn't help it. I'm so excited. He did put out a short. I saw that. And the short is awesome, man. He put some good old school music behind it. The short of it looks good. So I can't wait to see the actual video of it. Turned out super good. Very happy with it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that. Trey says, I've heard the green bike superstition before. I think it's a universal fear. And, it is a superstition. You know, that's probably all it is, but I've just always heard that. There are certain colors that just I fall to and I favor for. Uh, there for a while, everybody was just blacking out everything, matte black and everything. And now the candies are kind of coming back in, and I kind of like that. I like most candies. I'm partial to like a pearl white, like a Cadillac pearl white. My wife's Lexus has this paint on it. It's called a glacier white, and in the sun, it's got kind of this blue, soft blue kind of hint to it in certain angles, and I really like that. But I've always liked white bikes. Of course, my favorite color is blue, and Lucy is blue, and I wanted flake in her, so I'm very happy with that. But if we get a Road Glide, it's probably going with that gold, that candy gold color. And I will do the interfering as well and the bars. I think that really sets off when you're painting. It shows, just kind of pulls everything together. On the street glides and the ultra glides and the road glides. I never liked the black inner fairing. I always liked to see bikes that had the painted match on the outer fairing and the inner fairing. I think that just really sets it off. And I had a street glide up here once that was white. And it had the outer fairing, the inner fairing, and the bars painted white. And man, that really, it just tied everything together. So if we get a road glide, get it running great, strip it to paint, then I'll definitely probably get the bars to match whatever paint we go with. Rick says, paint by Spears. I'll be over to your page tomorrow. Awesome, that's great, guys. Really makes me happy to see a good friend get some love on YouTube because I know how hard it is. I know. Joe Buck, which trike kit is your dad going with? Good question, Joe. I don't know. I don't know what's offered with the Dynas. I did spend a little time looking at them, and some are really nice. They have the big wide fenders. It's a complete axle where you take the rear wheel completely out. And then those are like $4,000 or $5,000. And then of course they have the ones that are just kind of like training wheels. You keep the rear wheel on. You don't mess with the belt or anything like that. I think it all is going to come down the price. I think my dad is selling the Honda Chopper for what he paid for it, and then he's going to put that trike kit on the Dyna. Now that's the plans, but like I said, that could change. So we're not sure yet about a trike kit, but when we get it, I will definitely be shooting a video on installing that. So if it's something you've ever wanted to know how to do, we're going to figure it out together. Now I've worked on trikes before and had to change a reverse gear on a trike and a belt on a trike, and boy, you got to take all the whole rear axle out and all that, kind of like a car. Is a lot of work. So I think maybe just a simple add-on trike kit that keeps his back wheel might be, best economically for him. All right, Ray says today green is in. Okay, so green's back in. All right, I feel better now. Trace, sounds like a pearlescent paint. Ooh, that'd be nice. Rick says, I had a 75 Electroglide with candy apple emerald. Oh, I bet that was pretty. If you got any pictures of that, I'd love to see that. 75 too, man. I bet that was a sweet ride. Melissa, show your helmet again, please. I missed it. Okay, all right. Now, I have not put the trim on the bottom, and I have decided I'm going with that thin gold trim. And I'm going to take the center console with the speedometer off of Lucy. Just one bolt comes off. And I'm going to put gold trim around the bottom of that. And I think that'll match up good. I'm not going to trim everything out in gold on Lucy. That would look gaudy. But I am going to at least put it on that center console. And I think that'll kind of tie in with my helmet really nice. And it really ain't going to make it ride any better, but it just looks a lot cooler. Dutch, is there something to be said about pearl with an iridescent top? Oh, Dutch, that's probably a question for a painter. What is that? Iridescent? I don't even know what that means. I gotta Google that. Iridescent top. I know what pearl is. Iridescent, is that like a translucent top? That's a technical question, Dutch. That's beyond my brain. Trace, someone near where I work has an early tour glide. Oh, in gold that looks great and period correct. Oh, I bet that looks good. Paint by Spears retracted his message. Paint by Spears again says, thanks so much, Rick. Melissa says, love it. Thank you. Dutch says, like the rainbow effect, of oil in water. Okay, yeah, I've seen those on cars. It's kind of like yeah. No, the Lexus is that glacier pearl, it's only, you can only see that kind of light blue tint in like the angles of the car when the sun hits it. It's really, really pretty. But no, it doesn't turn any other colors. It's just that blue. But I have seen those before. That would probably look really good on a bike, wouldn't it? Okay. Any other comments? Did I catch them all? Did I miss anybody? No. Okay, I've got a little goal button here. What is the goal button? Make super chat more fun with a goal. Okay, don't know what that is. All right. So currently, what is on the lift is I'm putting the very final touches on the Canadian Yamaha bike, and he's come down. He has put dibs in on the iron head, so it's probably going back to Canada with him when he comes down. And then my son called me at his work and said, "Hey, there is a coworker here that has a little Yamaha 50cc four-wheeler, and he's selling it cheap and it runs." So I said, "Well, tell him to bring it to work tomorrow. I'll go look at it." And he did, and I went and looked at it, and I picked it up for 50 bucks. It needs a valve stem and needs some carb work, but it was running. And I said, sold. Loaded it up in the back of the Escalade. Yeah, it fit. Had to lower the handlebars. So I'm actually going to put that on the lift tomorrow. I think it's narrow enough it'll actually go on my lift. And me and the boys are going to freeze to death out here. They probably will. I'm used to it. And you know, the shop heat, well, it's up still at 42, but it's not been running long. It'll get up about 20 degrees warmer than whatever's outside, and the ceiling has helped tremendously. In summertime, I think it's going to be really good. But anyway, we're going to be working on that four-wheeler to get it running for the kiddos and the grandbabies. And then Mr. Spears' bike's coming back on the lift. That should be the video you see this coming Friday. I've been trying to add more videos, like a Monday or or Tuesday video, maybe a shop update or something. But I don't want to try to always do that, because putting out 2 videos a week is very time consuming, and I want to have time to wrench and to give you good quality stuff. So I'm still going to do the every Friday videos, but I might not be able to do 2 videos a week. And then my members, I try to do videos with them that are just member only videos, and those videos are kind of more personal. I did one on how I got started in the bike business. I did one on just some rides that I did. I did try to do more personal stuff. We had a snow day here and we went sledding. I posted a video about that. So for my members, I try to do members only video, but I'm not very consistent with those. I need to be better with that. And in my lives, I'm going to try to do at least a live a month. I think if we did a live every week, it might just kind of get boring for everybody. So we'll see how that goes. Danny says, love your channel. Thank you very much for posting your craft. I appreciate that, Danny. Like I said, you guys keep me going. Y'all keep me motivated. Y'all keep me out here putting out content. And I hope that, we're having fun together and learning along the way. Trace, we appreciate the consistency with once a week videos. We understand it takes a ton of extra time to set up and record things. It does, because now when I move to the other side of the bike, all my equipment has to move with me. So all my lights, my camera, then the angle, then a stop, and then get my tools together, then hit record again. Go to the other side of the bike, got to do it all again. So I have to do that with each shot that I take. Then I'll have about 4 or 5 hours of video. I have to download to the laptop. I use a MacBook Air, and then I use iMovie to have to edit all that down to about an hour. I try to keep them about an hour. If I feel like it's going past the hour, then I'll do a part two. And so that the editing takes me a good 5 to 6 hours to edit. And I try to cut out all my ums and just silence so that you're constantly either hearing me talk or hearing some background shots or something. So I'm trying to perfect that and get a little better at that. And the GoPro's been good. Some people I know that have a lot more subscribers, they use, several camera setups, several light setups. It's just me. It's just me out here. Um, so this is what it is for a while. So I put a lot of time into a Friday video, but it doesn't really take that much to do a shop update or talk about tools or talk about things coming up. I can shoot that in one fell swoop, edit it, cut out some things that are just wasted time, and then upload that within probably 3 hours. So I'm trying to do more of that for you folks. Danny, $50? Dude, take that back. I do not deserve that. Oh my goodness. Dan, the man, Danny Show Runner, and there's a P, something else. Do I click this? It doesn't tell me your full name. Damn, man, that is so awesome. I'm going to heart that. Wow. That is cool. Do you like mail it to me? How do I get it? No, I'm just kidding. Probably goes to my YouTube fund. Spears, paint by Spears. Well, I know the driveway is been near low 30 degrees. I've been with my back in the gravel since about 11:30 repairing my brakes on the truck. Sorry I didn't make it today. Oh man. Um, yeah, I think I invited Spears up to be part of the live, and when I go live next time, I'll definitely try to schedule him out to come out. He came up here and shot the video of the pinstriping for my helmet in here in the shop. And then we sat down and he interviewed me in a video, and we lost all the audio on it. So we're going to have to reshoot the interview, but that'll be on his channel, so be looking for that. But thank you so much, Danny. Man, that is such a blessing. And Spears, sorry you've been laying in gravel all day. Man, it's been cold today and windy today. Um, Trace, it gives us something to look forward to wrap up the week on Friday. That's a good point, Trace, because I love the people that I'm subscribed to, like Legit Streetcars, Vice Grip Garage. Most of those guys put out on a Friday. That's really the reason I put out on Fridays, was because Vice Grip Garage did. And I always enjoyed having some time on a Saturday in the middle of the day after the kids' ball games or practices or whatever, putting my feet up for a minute and watching a video. I enjoy that. That's really the only time that I get to watch YouTube. And so Fridays have been good for me. It seems like the algorithm is more prone to that. And there's a thing on YouTube, the analytics thing, that shows you when most of you guys as my subscribers are on YouTube. And I've noticed it kind of fluctuates. A lot of you guys are on a Monday and Tuesday evenings, but a lot are on Saturdays and Sundays. So if I can get a video to hit on a Friday. Now, why do I post at 9 a.m. on a Friday? I just do. It probably wouldn't hurt to do it Friday evening, because on my Friday mornings till about Friday evening, I might get, depending on the video and the bikes that I work on really drive how many views I get. So if I work on Harleys, I've discovered more people watch those. If I work on a street bike or a sports bike or a Yamaha or Suzuki, even if it's old, I don't get a lot of views initially, but in 3 or 4 months later, I guess people are trying to restore those bikes, I do get the views. So my Harley videos do better, and about 90% of my work is old Harleys. So uh, Dilligaf. Love that you work on a lot of Evos. I learned a lot from what you do. Great content, man. Appreciate that very much. It's weird. Some years it'll be 15, 20 Sportsters. Then the next year, 2015, twin cams. This year, so far, it's an Evo year. So a lot of Evo. So I like working on the older, the better. Now, flatheads and knuckleheads, I can honestly say I've never worked on one of them, but I'd love to. The panhead, of course, I own. So before I had the YouTube channel, I did a frame off, painted the frame, got all the tins painted, rebuilt the motor, went through the transmission, put it all back together from the frame up. And then, so I've been all through that. I know pretty well familiar with the panheads and their quirks and things you need to watch out for and maintain. And then, of course, shovel heads, we've rebuilt a couple of those, even some strokers. And then, of course, Evos. I love. I love how a panhead sounds. I think the best sounding Harley motor would either have to be the shovel head because it has that low RPM gallop. Then the Evo. The Evo and the shovel head, I think, have that best gallop sound. The panhead really doesn't have that gallop sound. If you listen to a panhead and you think you're going to get a nice kind of gallop out of it, you're not, and you're going to think something's wrong with it. But it's just the panhead. But the shovels and those um, Evos really have that good gallop. If they're tuned in right and you got the right air fuel mixture, you can really get them to just sit there and gallop all day long. Danny says, I have a shoal runner Predator. Oh, Predator. There you go. That's the P in his name. I have a non-active YouTube channel. Think a couple of pics of my bike, a 96 Road King. Oh, I bet that's nice. And an '08 Electroglide Ultra Classic. Hey, Danny, I'll check your channel out and look at those pictures. Thank you for posting them. I love to see you got your guys' bikes, projects you're working on. I love to see that your shop's set up, man. I love sharing stuff like that. I could set out and look at bike pics and different ideas all day long. Trace says, I would love to see a Springer front end conversion on Lucy like you discussed in the previous video, but would understand if you decided to just rebuild the current forks. The only reason I would rebuild those forks, Trace, is just money, just finances. I did, however, though, find a Springer front end, chromed. It's complete with the wheels, the axle, everything. Fender, and it was like 800 bucks. So I might I might pick that up. But however, I'm not sure, excuse me, I'm not sure how newer stuff. It was off of an '08 Springer. So I don't want to buy something off Marketplace and it not, fit on the panhead. So Lucy is a 1950 motor in a 58 frame. So I don't know if the 58 frame would work with an '08 Springer. I would assume so, but and if not, we could. I assume we could make it work. So that's the only reason um, I would rebuild those forks. From what I'm finding, there's not a lot of options to rebuild those forks. So I might try the fluid just to flush the fluid. And, on those forks, I do know probably the easiest way to fill those is to put it on the lift, strap it down in the front, take a ratchet strap across the top tube neck, ratchet it down, compress the forks all the way down, then fill both tubes a little at a time and let go of the ratchet strap. And then as it goes back up, it sucks the fluid in, compress it down again, and you got to measure out the fluid to make sure you get the correct fluid in both forks that is required. I might try that and see if it's a better ride. Um, Now there's no vibration or anything like that. I've just noticed that if I hit a pothole or go over something even slow, kind of really hard, like a speed bump going over it slow, when it comes off that speed bump, I can feel it bottoming out in the forks, and I know that's not good. So something's got to be addressed. I would love to put a springer on it. I think that would look really good. And if I've already got the fender that comes with the springer and the wheel, then it's easy to get Mr. Mike to spray that fender again and get Chase up here to pinstripe it. I'm telling you, I'm so blessed as a mechanic here in a little country town to have such talented guys like those two. And most painters that are professional, like Mr. Mike is, they won't take the time to do little parts and little things, but he does. And he's such a community guy. And Spears is like that as well. And so we're very blessed in our area to have guys like that. So I know they wouldn't mind doing that and me paying them for that. So I might go that route. I mean, $800 for a Springer set, wheels, ready to go, bolt on. That's not bad. To me, in our area, that's not a bad price. So, all right, where am I at now? Danny says, woohoo, I made the list. Brian says 1986 FXRS Custom Best Harley Super B Carb. I have a good friend at church that rides with us every Saturday that we can get together. His name's Bubba, and he has an FRS, uh, an FXR, sorry. And man, I think his is an 80s too. It's Evo. So yeah, and it's nice. And he rides. He's got a trike as well that he rides too. Uh, those are nice, really nice bikes. Danny says, my wife and I watching a video hearing a shovel. Both of us are wiggling our feet to the beat. Yeah. uh, you can't replicate that. I know Honda tried to replicate it, India tried to replicate it. You just can't. They just have that beautiful, consistent gallop at idle. That's especially when they're warm and tuned right. They're good. Paint by Spears. I gotta go, buddy. Hope to see you soon. Need anything, just holler. Same here to you, Mr. Chase. And Mr. Chase lives about, I don't know, 4 miles from where I live. So it's very nice to have such a good friend and talent so close to me. Very good. Man, you guys have been, man, we've been talking for almost an hour. It don't feel like it, does it? Maybe it does to you. So you guys talk to me. Any questions? I'm here for you. I'm glad to answer. I just can't. Danny, thank you so much, man, for the $50 donation. That is awesome. That's so cool. I didn't even know you could do that. Is that what that gold thing is? Because it's like halfway lit now. Pretty cool. Let me scroll down here. That's awesome. Hey, what are some things that you guys think? Because I'm always looking to be better and to do better. What are some things you guys think would help with the channel, or maybe some bikes you'd like to see, or some video ideas that you guys would like? Now we got a lot lined up, probably for the next couple months. We got Spears Evo hardtail to get back on the lift. We've got that '97 Springer to finish up. I'm waiting on the customer to give me a good day to come over and look through their stuff before we order a bunch of stuff. I've got that Dyna, the Cursed Dyna, that we got to get on the lift. I got this Honda CB750 we're doing the head on. I got my dad's chopper that's now, I guess, my son-in-law's chopper that we got to get on the road again. And then putting a trot kit now, my dad's Dyna. So we got a lot of stuff, and I've got several more bikes lined up to come up to the shop. That's going to be a lot of fun too. Let me catch up here. 93 Evo, I bet he's got an Evo, says, any advice on Super E accelerator pump? I've rebuilt it, but still no squirt. They always give you trouble. I think it's the way that S&S designed that accelerator pump. I'm just not a fan of the S&S carburetors. I think S&S makes great heads. They make great cases. They make great rocker tops. I've just never been a fan of their carburetors. They've always given me trouble, and it seems like they don't stay set. Now, some people swear by them, and they find that they have great success with them. I've just never had good luck with the S&S car, be it a Super E or B or really any of them. So the accelerator pump is quite a common issue. Yeah, I mean, if you still got no squirt after rebuilding it, I don't know. Maybe the float level is not enough for it, but no, that wouldn't be right on this on the S&S. I'll ask my buddy Bubba. He's got several S&S carbs on his bike. I'll ask him about it and see what he thinks. Rick, Aging Soul, says, since I sold my shovel head, I got an 88 FX lowrider, custom paint, Super B carb, and an '03 Fat Boy. Boy, that's a good combination. I always love the Fat Boys. I've had several in the bike. I almost bought one once. They ride really good. I love the Fat Boys. The Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator bikes. Danny says, you knock it out of the park every video. Man, that's so kind. I used to be as patient as you. Health conditions got me uptight, not being able to do even simple jobs. I get all excited and start losing my chi. Yeah, been there too. Been very frustrated with things, and especially things that just don't turn out right, and you don't know what's going on, and you just sometimes need another set of eyes. That's really why I like you guys being in the shop with me, because several times I've shot a video and then later somebody has commented on it about something. Well, I'll give you an example. Okay, I just posted Friday the 20-point inspection that I do for all the springtime getting ready to ride. And somebody, well, two things. One person said to undethaw something is to freeze it. So I might have said that in my video. Another person said, hey, that neck on that Road King has a grease fitting, a Zerk fitting. Totally forgot to grease the neck. So guess what I did? I greased the neck. So it's good to have another set of eyes in the shop by the videos and being able to add that to my list and catch that. So I appreciate that. Brian says, Super B, no accelerator pump, love it. Yes, and that's probably why most people run the Super B instead of the Super E. It's a lot simpler design, and a lot of people have good luck with those. The Super E's I've never really had good luck with. Dutch says, I also have a carb question. I have a 40 millimeter key in on the shelf that came to me with a 48 and 170 jet setup. Is that out of whack? No, it doesn't sound out of whack. And jet sizes really depend on what air you're bringing in and what exhaust you're pushing out. So also, I shouldn't say just that, but also what cams you're running as well. So you got a stage one, stage two, and of course stage three, which is more drag racing, street racing. So your jet sizes will increase as you need it for the air and more fuel going in. So more air you got going in, of course, you have to match that fuel ratio. So more fuel you need going in, thus the bigger jets. And exhaust changes that as well. Now I will tell you this, on jet sizes, if you have a stock jets in your bike and you go to a bigger cam and you want a bigger jets, or you change the air and you change the exhaust and need bigger jets, don't you don't have to necessarily buy bigger jets. I'll show you something. I think I've got it right over here. Yeah, right here. Go and buy you something like this. Leave it up there a minute for you. This is a micro box HSS twist drills, 20-piece set. It goes down from 0.3 up to a 1.6. And you can actually take your jets, make sure they're centered, and use whatever size you want to make your jets bigger. So you don't actually even have to buy bigger jets. You can just make your stock jets bigger. Now you want to be very careful. You want to be very precise. You want to be very centered. And a good rule to start is to find the bit that already fits in your jet, and then just go up one size, put it in your bike, see how that runs. Now a lot more time consuming, but it might save you some money and having to buy a whole kit of jets trying to figure out which one is big enough. So I have used those before and that seems to work good. So Dutch, to answer your question, it all depends really on what air you're bringing in and what exhaust you got going out, and if you got bigger cams and things like that. Trace says, do the disc wheels on the Fat Boys catch crosswind as bad as people say they do? I've never experienced that, but I don't live in an area like, I think up in Indiana's pretty bad, and they got bad crosswinds up there. Um, I've never noticed any difference on those solid rims because your rear rim's pretty much covered up anyway if you got bags on it, and your belt pulley and all that back there. In your front is the only thing that's really going to catch any kind of side wind. I've never noticed it, but you guys that own your Fat Boys, chime in and ask or answer. Danny says, take them to a local shop anymore. Support our neighbors in the business of bringing smiles. That's good. Always support your independent shops. That's always good, especially if it's somebody you trust, somebody that does honest work, somebody that is, just kind. Um, that's who I like giving my business to. But you got to be careful, guys. I hear so many bad stories. Bad stories. People that just take all your money up front, keep your bike for 2-3 years, don't do the job, and I've just heard bad stories. Um, so be careful. But if it's somebody you trust and they've done good work and they're recommended, always support them. 93 Evo, I'm about to just buy a stock CV carb and be done with it. Yeah. The CV carbs are great. Easy to rebuild, easy to find parts for. So most people don't. I don't know. I don't know if they just want the S&S or think it's going to be better. But when Harley built the motor, I would think they'd put the carb that would work the best on them. So you don't find a lot of people that does carb work much anymore. And anybody that does flywheel work, forget that. Forget that. Dutch Clutch, I wrote it down. Thank you. You're welcome. They've been a good set to me. I think I still got them all except I think one I dropped and I never could find. No, I'm missing two actually. Oh, but let me show you on this. It's got this little slider that goes to each individual spot, so you don't have to drop all of them. So it's pretty nice. I don't know where I got this. I think Amazon maybe, but it's been a good one, and it wasn't much at all. Not much at all. All right, let's see. Brian says very common swap. Toss the plastic. Harley stock carb, install a CV. Yep, very good. Danny says explain torque cones again. Okay, torque cones. Torque cones are the little bitty cones that go right at the head, at the very tip of your exhaust, your header pipe. So what torque cones do is if you add aftermarket exhaust, you might get popping out of your exhaust on decel, uh, and those torque cones help to give a little bit. They're designed to be smaller in diameter to go into your exhaust, but they taper down even smaller. So they really reduce the size of the exhaust right at the head. And I don't think it so much creates back pressure, but it torques that exhaust flow down so that you don't get that pop out of the tailpipe. So a lot of people that put on aftermarket pipes will slide those torque cones in. They're super cheap. Get a set for like 10 bucks for whatever diameter your head is, your exhaust is, and they fit right up. You don't have to have any special gaskets or anything like that. So those are a good easy fix. So you don't have to go in, and if it's fuel injected, put a tuner on your bike. If it's carbureted, go up in jets and try to figure all of that out. So usually torque cones are a quick kind of fix for that popping on diesel. So that's kind of what they're designed for. James Pryor says, have you ever heard of someone embedding a $50 somewhere on their bike? Done as a memorial type of thing, I believe. Heard about it from a family member, but haven't found any info on it online. No, I've never seen that. Have you ever heard of someone embedding a $50? Huh. Like embedding it, like putting it receded down in the metal, like in a tank or something, on the side of a tank. I've never seen it as a memorial type of thing. That's neat. You guys chime in on that. James asked a good question. I've never seen it. Never heard of that at all. Hmm. One of our members, Mr. Stormint, says, how about you working on mine, tricking it out? Well, I'd love to. Come on, bring it up. Let's do it. Thomas O'Brien says, I live in central Kansas where it can be extremely windy. I have a fat boy. Okay, here's an answer to our fat boy front wheel question. I noticed no difference in the spoke wheels on my panhead or the disc wheels on my fat boy. I've never noticed a difference either, but again, I don't live in a windy area. I would assume central Kansas is very windy. Danny says, my King sat 12 years. I took it to them, but my gas tank they put my gas tank on crooked, didn't put on intake gaskets. What? I would have recommended it, but guess they only do what you ask type of shop. Well, that's no good. Okay, I try, if I see something that just needs to be fixed and I got it, I just grab it and put it on the bike. I'll just fix it. Especially something like intake gaskets. And if I don't have them, I call the guy and say, hey, there's no intake gaskets. You need intake gaskets. Let's get intake gaskets. So I wouldn't want to do work on somebody's bike and not put it back completely the way it's supposed to be per service manual, per the specs. and try to cut corners like that. I mean, come on, intake gaskets, $10 for the set. Mm, sorry that happened to you. Rick says, and he's to Trace, I've been in SOE really bad crosswinds on my Fat Boy, and it still handled really well. Okay, so that answers our question. Stock jetting, Christopher says, on my 93 Electra is 42 and 170. When I installed my EV13, a local shop drilled my pilot to a 48 and called it a day. I've been trying to dial it in closer over the last year. Now, I will say this. If you're going to go up on a main, I usually recommend going up on main and jet. So I would go up on both at the same time. Because usually if you got to go up on one, that means you go up on the other. You know, you have your idle jet, um, and then when you get into the gas, it goes to the other jet. So if you need more fuel at idle, you're going to need more fuel, especially when you're getting on it. So to me, I always go up on both jets, not just one. So that might be what you're chasing. Um, all right. So Thomas O'Brien says, I have a shelf with quite a few carbs, and I'm running CV carbs on most of my bikes. I don't have anything really high performance, but I'm very happy with cap carbs. Yeah, they're good carbs and easy to kind of tinker with. Danny says, I'm fixing to put Vance Hine header pops on. I kind of like my Evo pop, but heard it's not good for it. 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other, question mark. Yeah, a pop on D cell, I don't know if it's bad for your motor. I mean, the pop is the excess fuel burning up. So, yeah, I mean, I would want to address it. I wouldn't want to run it like that. It does wake folks up, lets them know you're close. But yeah, I'd probably want to address it. The torque cones should resolute that, and then if not, you might have to go up in jets if it's carbed. If it's fuel injected, of course, a tuner. I like the Dynajet tuners. Um, they're easy to do. You don't have to have a laptop or equipment to do them. Um, they're kind of easy. They're preset. The new ones now. Used to, I'd have to plug it into a computer and download from Dynajet, put in all the info of the bike, what area he's running, what intake it is, what exhaust he's running, what size cams he's got, and then Dynajet would recommend the best tune that fit that. But sometimes you'd have to play around with 3 or 4 different files before you found the right tune. But now they've really improved their tune systems, and it's pretty simple to do. You can even adjust it on the actual tuner itself, touch screen. It's pretty nice. Stormet says, if you have fire by wire, well, removing the baffles out of my Reinhardt exhaust cause problems. It could cause popping on D-cell because those baffles catch that and baffle that pressure. So when you take those out, you pretty much have straight pipes in doing that. And a lot of people cut their baffles out or drill them out and then slide them out. So a lot of people do that, then put the torque cones in, and that solves the problem. You get a lot more throatier sound out of your pipes. So Danny says, I think having the carbs off and a 2012 plates on it. I've gone through their bike like it was my own and replaced old stuff I do on my own bike. I'm going to give them another chance. Oh, good. Good. Brian, any backfire is bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you want to address that. I mean, yeah, it is. Danny says, I'll get torque cones then. Yes, carb all stock bike. Yeah, torque cones. Try those and go that route first because they're easy to do, easy to put in, and might do it. Due for lifters, but not making any noise. Okay. Well, of course, if you change your lifters out, throw you some new rods in there if you want a new cam. Even if you go back with a stock cam, it's a good idea because those lifters, if it's getting time for new ones, they have ridden in that cam and they've kind of matched that cam lobe, and then you just throw some new lifters in and it's still riding on that used cam. Um, you could get chatter. So I would always recommend putting back in a cam. You can put the same stock cam in if it's stock, but anytime you go new lifters, I'd probably recommend a cam and some new rods if you wanted to. Christopher, thoughts on how these older bikes keep up with the bikes of today? These 80 mile per hour speed limits out west seem to ask a lot of a bike, especially with a headwind. I ride a 1950 Panhead, and I guess my speedometer is off because I usually lead the pack, though I don't like doing it all the time, so I'll fall back usually wherever we go out, and on the way back, I'll fall back and just relax and enjoy the ride. But we'll pull over at a stop, and they're like, well, man, why are you going so fast? I'm like, what do you mean? You're going 80 mile an hour. I'm like, dude, it's a Panhead. There's no way I'm going 80 miles. You are. You're going 80 mile an hour. So, man, them old bikes, they go. Now the bikes of today and the Milwaukee 8s and especially the big cams and stuff, they're putting out some big horsepower. But most Harleys, they have great low end torque. You're not going to beat them off the line. They just have great low end torque. You'll get them on the quarter mile, but um, that's just what they are. They love that torque. They got great torque. Dutch, are lollipops a gimmick or do they really help with reversion? Lollipops are not a gimmick. I actually have them in my panhead. I got straight pops on my panhead. I do not have torque cones. Um, and I have lollipops. They are great. If you don't know what lollipops are, it is basically a washer welded on to the end of a bolt or screw. And they go into the about, I think I set mine in about 6 inches from the end of the pipe. And that creates enough back pressure that I don't get pop on diesel. So it does the same thing as the torque cones, but just at the tail end of the pipe. So a lot of like shovel heads and earlier will run lollipops, and they do help. And the thing I like about the lollipops, why I run those and not torque cones, is that once you set a torque cone in, it's there. With the lollipops, I can actually take that washer that's setting in the exhaust and I can turn it by that bolt on the bottom, and I can adjust the angle of that lollipop to either let more exhaust out or close it up to constrict more of that back pressure. So you can actually adjust those and dial in exactly what your pipes want to be like, run like. So they're not a gimmick. I run them in my panhead, and they're very good and easy to adjust. Danny says, thank you. Appreciate it. Ray says, every bike is different, but on my sporty, decel popping always means intake leaks. Zero deceleration popping when I have no intake leaks. Yes, popping could be usually you're popping on decel, uh, could either be aftermarket exhaust, straight pipes, or carb issues, which an intake leak would be considered on the carb side. So the carb mixes the correct amount of air and fuel, goes into the intake. Right before it goes into the head, if you have an intake leak, it's going to let more air in. So now your ratio is more lean and not mixed well, and it will create the pop. So yes, you are correct, Ray. An intake leak can cause that. Darren says, do your take on a CV carburetor or a Mikuni carburetor on a twin cam? If I had a choice, I would go with the CV. The Mikunis are a little bit more parts. To me, I think a CV or a Kian are very simplistic, and I like that. The one thing I love about the older Harleys, from really the early twin cams down, is the simplicity of them. They're just simple. They're simple motors, simple transmissions, simple primaries. You kind of understand when you get into them how they work and why things are the way they are. Now they do have flaws and quirks, but I think the CV carburetors are quite like that. They're just very simple carburetors. They're easy to set up, they're easy to rebuild, and they do quite good. So personally, I would go with a CV over a Mikuni. And Mikunis, whoo, high dollar. They're expensive. Thomas says, I have lollipops on my panhead, and I will tell you they are not a gimmick. Yes, that is true. So shovels and under that run lollipops is kind of a thing if you have straight pipes on your bike. Wow, guys, we've been chatting for an hour and a half. Man, you guys are awesome. That's so awesome. And thank you guys so much. Especially to Danny who donated $50. Man, that's just awesome. Well, I hope you've had a good time hanging out with me. We got 34 folks, 33 folks on here watching now. I appreciate each and every one of them. To those that hopped on and jumped off, that's great. And if anybody missed it, this live chat, I think it's available. You can just go back and watch it. So if you had to run out or go to the bathroom or go get you a cold pop, you can go back and watch the video if you missed something. I'm going to hang out for just a little bit longer if there's any other questions you've been wanting to ask and haven't asked. Trace says, I love the short pipes on Lucy. Gives it a bit of an attitude. Yeah, those were the pipes that come on it. I don't think I really changed anything about Lucy except it had hard bubble bags on it that were not for that year. So I took them off and I put those, they're actually duffel bags that I fabricated to fit on Lucy. And they are sheepskin or goatskin. They're goatskin. I found them on eBay. Loved the color of them, the vintage style. Cut some of the straps off and fabricated them to fit on Lucy. I also changed the handlebars. I love the bars that I'm running. And I also changed the Beehive uh, air filter on it with the brass mesh in it. I always wanted that on a panhead. I just think they look awesome. And I think that's the only thing I've ever changed on her. Floorboards are still the same. I'm going to have to get some new paddings on my floorboards. Everything else is the same besides just mechanics stuff I've upgraded and replaced. Everything's been about the same. Darren, what do you find easier to work on? Evos or twin cams? Okay, good question. It really depends on what you're doing. If I'm going into the cam chest, twin cams by far are easier because you don't have to go into the top end to get into the cam chest. That was a really good upgrade that Harley did. But with the twin cams, you have now tensioners that you have to be careful of because it's not a single cam anymore. Now you got either a chain or you got gears driving both cams. But you're able to go into that cam, and I do like that on the twin cam design, they put the oil pump inside the cam chest. I like that. I know most people don't. They say, well, an external oil pump is easier to swap out, but not really, because you kind of have to still go in the cam chest. And if you replace the oil pump, you replace the drive gear on it and things like that. So you're not really saving a lot of time. And if you go in an Evo cam chest, you got to get pressure off those lifters, and if they're not, or off those push rods, and if they're not adjustable push rods, then you're going into the top. So I really like that design. So if I'm going into the cavity chest of a bike, the uh, the twin cam is easier. All the other stuff is pretty much the same. I mean, it's all designed to do the same thing. So that's the only big difference is it's easier to do cam work on a twin cam instead of an Evo, just because of those extra steps. Now, Danny says, I bet he says Evo. Well, his a twin cam is easier uh, just because of that design, uh, where you don't have to get into the top end if you have solid push rods. On the Evos, you have to get into the top end. So on the Evo we worked on last, it was the Road King, and we did a lifters in it, and a new cam. They had adjustable push rods, and so we did not have to go into the top end. So that was kind of the same as a twin cam at that point. Uh, but the cones are a little harder to get off, and you got to be careful with the cam a little bit more. So yeah, I would say a twin cam's a little easier to work on. Um, but the older they are, the more I kind of like working on them. Danny says either are probably easy for him. Huh. Well, I mean, when you do a lot of them, you kind of get used to it because you know what you're getting into. You know the job. You know some things to look out for. You kind of know the process, and you just kind of know how long it's going to take and the parts you're going to need. So that it gets easier over time the more you do them. Of course, I remember the first twin cam ever went into, the first Evo I ever went into, the first panhead I ever went into. Terrifying. But I love doing motor work because I love the precision of it. I love laying everything out on the table like an operating table, getting all the tools prepared and ready. I love it. Doing major surgery on bikes. Thomas says, I'm considering changing the chain primary on my 98 Fat Boy to a belt primary. What are your thoughts? Uh, okay. So the belt primary, I think, are not as good as the chain because you run a dry clutch in a belt primary. They're a little noisier. If you've ever been around a Ducati, Ducatis have dry clutches, and they sound like they're about to fall apart at idle, and it's the rattle of the clutch. So I've always had a smoother ride on a wet clutch than a dry clutch. Smoother shifting. So I would prefer a chain drive over a belt drive. Now, if you're going to run open primary and want the chopper look, then definitely go with belt. You don't want a chain down there and chewing up your britches. But for a more smooth, quiet ride, I would do chain. Now, the belt has, of course, no tensioner. A chain will have a tensioner. So you're going to get, okay, so when when the bike's running and that compensator is spinning, all that torque and all that motor vibration is going to be absorbed in that belt. And since there's no tensioner on it, it puts a little more strain on your clutch, on the bearing of the clutch. And so you're going to find you're probably replacing clutch bearings quicker and clutch hub assemblies quicker than you would on a wet clutch with a chain. And so I would, if you're asking my opinion, I would run chain um, instead of belt. And the chains, if you get a good quality chain, they're going to last as long as a belt anyway. Danny says, dang, I was wrong on the twin cam versus the Evo. Yeah. The twin cams are a little easier. They did some good designs. I'll give them credit on that on the twin cam. Of course, those older chain tensioners before the hydraulic tensioners, they needed to address that, and they did. They quickly did, so that's good. Danny says, I figured because the cam chain tensioners and how much you hate to take apart. Yeah, so like I just said, the cam chain tensioners are the only kind of crutch on the early twin cams. And now when they went to the hydraulic tensioners, yes, they still need to be replaced, but not anything like the mileage you have to replace on the spring tensioners. And when you take them off and you look at the outer tensioner, and you're like, oh, that don't look too bad. I guarantee you the inner primary or the inner cam chain tensioner is 10 times worse. So you're always going to have to pull that off, the oil pump off and the cam assembly off to look back there and see. But once, in 06 they changed that in the Dyna. So I guess Dyna was like their test bike. So they introduced the hydraulic cam chain tensioners in the Dynas in 06. And then after that, in 07, implemented them in all their twin cams. And so that was a really good upgrade. Once they did that, dialed it in. The twin cams really got a lot of miles, carefree miles out of those. So, Dutch, I would love to meet the genius that decided to aspirate oil back into the Ventura. Yeah. Now, I mean, it's really the Harley design. My pan head is designed to leak oil. They always say, how do you know when to change the oil on a pan head? They say, well, when it stops leaking. So they're designed to breathe out. Then came in the twin cams that breathe back the oil back into the air filter and right into your carburetor, which is a terrible design. Luckily, they have kits where you can just run the breather tubes right off of the breather bolts into catch cans and route them into a single can and eliminate the oil air mixture going back into your air and filter and into your carburetor or intake, electric fuel intake. So there is a way around that. So Brian, he's called an engineer, far from genius. Yeah. I know engineers and mechanics battle all the time. Thomas, you run a 3-inch open primary belt. Oh, I run a 3-inch open primary belt on my pan, and you are correct about the clutch noise. I hadn't considered the extra wear on the clutch hub bearings. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, you need to watch out for that because there's no way to put tension on that belt. So that belt has to be tight, and you've got the compensator and the clutch, and when you draw the tension of the belt, they're constantly in that pressure. Where a chain that has a tensioner, you can actually adjust that tension. You never want to, of course, get a chain, primary chain, too tight. You want it to have a little bit of flop in it for that very reason, so that it doesn't prematurely wear out the bearings on your clutch basket or hub. So your belt keeps that constant tension, and you will need to, observe that from time to time. Great question. Okay, guys. Well, if there's not any more questions coming in or chats coming in, we will call it a night. Thank you again so much for all of you that took the time to come out and hang out with me on a Sunday night. And if you like this format and you like the Sunday nights, we're going to keep it. And just, hey, let me know in a comment in a video. Send me an email. It's there on my page. Hey, when are you going to do another live chat? I said, all right, this Sunday we'll do another live chat. So I don't want to just keep constantly doing Sunday night chats unless y'all want to do it every Sunday night. I'll be happy to do it when I can. Trey says, take care, y'all. Danny says, thanks for your time. Darren says, thank you, sir. Love your videos. Danny says, I'll member up. Oh, Danny, man, I appreciate that. All of our members are so good to me. Dutch says, thank you for the knowledge. Be safe. Take care. Brian says, ciao for now. Hit me up next time. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And please do me a favor and tell your mom and them I said hi. Okay, how do I turn this off?